SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
State Treasurer David McRae is returning record amounts of money to Mississippians, whether it's through the College and Career Savings Program or the hundreds of millions in unclaimed money awaiting your claim. Treasurer David McRae says get your applications and claims in today. Treasury.ms.gov.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar.
It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Grateful for you tuning in and my team at SuperTalk Mississippi. Well into my 8th complete year. Have mercy. So much fun. Learning to listen, as I say. So, Superior Catfish, thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me over the years. You guys are fantastic. There's Catfish, there's Superior Catfish. Every time I do the math, it adds up to head on over to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Talking restaurant world today. Dear friend of mine, so I think I'm going to tie in some dots, especially between some catfish over there at Superior and tourism and the creative economy, and that has a lot to do with the culinary world, and that's where I'm heading today. The road to be one killer chef and restaurateur is paved in multiple pathways, but all start with gravel and potholes, just like me in the music business. You have to be dedicated, really passionate for the art of culinary, and at some point, like today's guests, you got to be all in. And guess where he comes from? Well, a native of New Orleans, found his way to the Mississippi Delta by a various amount of different roadways, highways, different parts of the country. And what ended up becoming one of the Delta's premier restaurants until he decided to hang it up and retire, Pasaque's. I never came home back in the day when we were in Nashville, and especially when our kids were with us, that we did not make memories at his restaurant. I can tell you. And when we moved here, I hear a lot of great stories from him over the years. And you can imagine the people that he's entertained, he's fed and celebrated. His background, obviously NOLA, but he spent time in Texas, California, of course, Mississippi, Louisiana. But I think having that base in New Orleans, well, that gives you like a springboard for the rest of the world because they know food better than anyone. So let's get to it right now. I want to hear the stories and the life behind my dear pal, Chef Ted Pasaquet. Hey, Ted.
Hey, what's up, Azar?
I'm glad to see you're up in the morning at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. Well, you and I, it's funny because I always felt like, Ted has got a musician's heart. And then you probably said, well, Steve's got a chef and a restaurateur's heart because we both spent a lot of times waking up to be game ready for the night. And that's when we entertain people. And then you get all wired up and you can't go to bed. And then you're eating breakfast in the morning at 2 a.m. And then everything's sideways. And you and I both had to do this for the bulk of our years and career while having children. And when we came home, of course, you'd come home to your children. I'd be off on the road when I'd come home.
Absolutely, because most of the restaurants I was in 7 days a week, lunch and dinner. So it's just a different world that nobody really understands unless you jump into it. But it was such a great journey for me. Started out as a dishwasher in the French Quarter, brand new restaurant opened, the balcony overlooked Jackson Square. And a friend of mine, my best friend, he was the best man at my wedding, said, let's go over there and apply. We just started college. And they said, well, the only position we have open is a dishwasher. And we looked at each other like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I said, let's do it, buddy. He said, we only have to do it for 2 months, and then we move up. So we did it. Anyway, I ended up staying 5 years while going through school. And
Hey,
an
back up for
hour
a second.
away.
Ted, real quick. What was the restaurant? What was the restaurant?
That was Chart House.
Chart
Restaurant.
House. Okay.
Yeah, in New Orleans. Uh, anyway, so stayed there. When we got off of work, was the perfect location for partying every single night. Just so fun. And then while I was working there, the governor came in, Buddy Romer at the time, and said, hey, we're opening up some restaurants. We only have one right now. We're in Shreveport. Really want you to come with us and get on our team. And I was like, and then 2 years later, I call him up and I go, hey, I think I want to talk to y'all about the restaurants. He said, all right, we still got one. He goes, but we got plans to open a bunch. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm with them. And then we started opening in Memphis, Colorado. We were in Baton Rouge, Bossier City. Anyway, a lot of Mexican but upscale Mexican. In fact, we had cabrito. Never seen that on Mex. That's goat. We used to grill whole goat over mesquite wood. Everything we did was over mesquite wood. So really quality Mexican place and really fun, packed all the time.
So these are scattered all parts of the country.
Yeah. Colorado.
So Ted, have you graduated college while you've gone through all this? I mean, like.
No, I still have 5 hours that I'm saving in case I need to go back. But the funny thing
I've got extra 5 hours I can give you times 30. I don't know how many hours I graduated with, but let's just say it took a while.
Yeah. I was
No,
5 years there, 5 years in the Chart House.
No. I guess what I'm saying with you, I mean, this was becoming your life. To me, it makes all the sense in the world that you just kept rolling.
And then, like the governor said, after I opened up 2 restaurants for him, he goes, well, you just got your PhD in restaurants. So we got up to 7, and then all of a sudden the oil embargo hit and interest rates went to 20%. And one of our owners was Bill Templeton. He owned Templeton Oil. So they said, hey, look, we're jumping out. We're getting out. So then I go back to New Orleans and I do a chef's apprenticeship under Frank Brightston, who worked for Paul Prudhomme and worked at Commander's Palace, K. Paul's. And then Paul Prudhomme told Frank Brightston, he said, look, I'm going to set you up in your own restaurant because you've been working for me. And Paul Prudhomme was doing so great. So I go over there and interview, and he's like, nah, I don't need. He looks at my resume. Of course, I was way overqualified to go in there and chop onions and stuff. And he's like, no, you're trying to get my recipes. And I'm like, well, I have to stay here for a year. My dad was having some problem. Anyway, so I go back about 3 times. I'm like, Frank, really? He goes, I tell you what, if you work here, you're going to work for free. And I was like, oh, you're kidding me. So anyway, I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I had to be there at 1 o'clock every day, get off at 11, did that for almost a year. And then a friend of mine calls up and he says, hey, man, there's a country club in Dallas, brand new. It's like going to be the best ever, Glen Eagles Country Club, 2 golf courses.
Wow, yeah, we know Glen Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, I go over there, and the only reason I got the job was because I took these Dale Carnegie courses when I worked for the governor. And I walked in, first time I ever walked in a country club. Never played golf in my life. And I walked in there and I said, hey, somebody's going to get this job, So I interview, and they're like, we don't even know how we talking to you. You don't have any club experience. And they were going to hire, a clubhouse manager runs the club, the pool, and tennis. So I'm like, well, I heard y'all had a problem. They had been open about a month, and they let their guy go. And then I said, this is what I can do for you. So they flew me back 5 times. 5 times.
Oh, my
and
God.
The last time I talked to the chef, and that's when I'm working at Bryson's. And they go, we don't have no idea why we're hiring you. So they hired me. So I stayed there for 3 years. I mean, we're serving Ben Hogan at lunch every Tuesday.
Yeah.
His daughter would bring him up. And like no women could ever go in the men's bar. That was not going to happen. But they would let her in there just to get him seated, and then she's out. That's the only woman I ever saw in there 3 years.
Wow. What years are we talking?
We're talking like 82 to 85.
Man,
80, 85-ish.
To think how far and long it's come since then. Let's take a quick break so we can thank our sponsors. Ted Pasquet, Chef Ted, is my guest today. He's a dear friend, and he is awesome. Speaking of awesome, you can get Superior Catfish delivered to your door. It'll be in your black iron skillet in no time. If you go to store.superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org, plan a road trip. Ted was a big part of the fabric of luring people in from multiple states, from Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee. He used to come to Pasque's all the time down here in the Mississippi Delta before he decided to call it quits and spend a little bit more time with his grandchildren. We'll be right back shortly. I'm Steve Azar. You're in the Mississippi Minute.
I gotta find another way into your life. Can't get there like I did before. 'Cause that bridge is washed out and the road isn't there anymore. No, no, no. That bridge is washed out and the road isn't there anymore.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
World, where servers and racks are running 20 times more power than they did before ChatGPT came on the scene 2.5 years ago. Equinix wants to bring even more power online to feed artificial intelligence workloads, but they are limited by things they cannot control, like supply chains and permitting. Equinix's chief business officer, John Lin, says he worries China is outpacing the U.S.
You're seeing the pace of development go much faster. China in particular, the amount of data centers, the amount of new power sources they've been able to bring online is incredible. And so we need to be able to understand what that looks like.
Bank of America says overall spending on data centers like this will hit $1.5 trillion in the next decade. In Ashburn, Virginia, with Fox on Tech, Lauren Simonetti, Fox Business.
In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
We're in cold water and we're in too deep. Yeah, we're in cold water. Say we in too deep.
Rolling into a Mississippi Minute. I've got Chef Ted Pasquet on the horn. He's retired, as they say, but never tired. And visit Mississippi.org. Get on the country trail marker. You're going to run into mine in front of Jim's Cafe on Washington Avenue in Greenville, a big influence. That street, growing up playing music as well. And you can have a great meal with Evelyn and Catherine. They're just wonderful there. Chef Ted Pasquet is giving me the story and the rundown of his crazy life, like my life has been crazy. We're in the entertainment business. Incredible mutual respect for each other. And I love this man so much. All right, so Ted, so you get this job at Glen Eagles. It's interesting. I see no chance in heck nobody's getting this job but you, because I know not having the experience. What do you think convinced them when you had never done this, and you're not just going into like the country club in like a town that has like 40 members? I mean, this is a big country club in a major city. Yeah. How'd you sway them?
So the manager that they had been there 2 years while they were developing the courses. Okay. And he was playing golf with the members as the club was being built. And he was beating the members, and anyway, he got on the wrong side of some members. Some months after they opened, they're like, okay, you're out of here, So that's when the interviewing process started. So as soon as I get that job, I mean, this place was just unbelievable. 2 golf courses and masseuse, hairdressers. I mean, just a crazy, beautiful country club. So I'm working there for 3 years, and Northwood Country Club calls me. And they had the U.S. Open in Northwood previously. and they were going to shut down their golf course and redo the greens and the fairways. So their food wasn't up to par, and Glen Eagles had the best food, so they took me. I'm over there working with them, and they kill everything. And so I'm working there, and I realized that, just it wasn't like Glen Eagles was. It was all, we had an ambulance parked out front because everybody in the club was probably 80, 70, 80 years old, because it was an old club. But it was beautiful. So I'm like, and they keep saying, well, you're too young, you don't have any gray hair, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, Northwood. I send some resumes out, okay? And I get a call one morning from Mickey Naiman, a local banker here. And he was the president
Our
of
brother,
Green
our dear brother,
Club.
who, by the way, helped sponsor my radio show, by the way. Guarantee Bank. Love him.
Hey,
but go ahead.
Well, and that's my banker. He says, we were reading him and Dean Tulamaris. He was president of a Swin Bicycle plant, I think, or general manager. Anyway, they said, we're looking at your resume. Why would you come to Greenville, Mississippi? And I said, I'll be honest with you, I don't know where Greenville, Mississippi is. And he said, why did you apply? And I said, because I need to go to a small club, a couple of years, help fix it up if I got to go to
a couple of years.
Yeah. So, and when I got here, members were going like, how come you're here? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna stay here 2 years and then I'm going. But
hey, by the way, this member didn't. Before I left to go to Nashville, this member right here having the conversation with you did not ask that question. I was just thinking like you were going to be here forever, and it was a beautiful thing. Continue. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah. Now I can remember my first week, and you and your buddies came in, had about a 6 top. I went up, talked to you, and you're like, we like you. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's a good start for me. Anyway, so I'm working at the country club, and then my kids were like 3 and 5. So I'm living right off the golf course, and I just never left. It was like Mickey Naiman, he had this vision, and I was in the vision, and I was like, you know what? Really liking this. I got there, we had 345 members, and I got us in 2 years up to 525, which is the most we've ever had.
Ever had, right.
Anyway, so I'm working there, and then I get a call from Catfish people, okay, just while I'm working there, and they said, hey, CNN is doing one chef. They asked the governor, Fordyce, okay, said, who's got the best catfish in Mississippi? And he goes, you're not going to believe it, but it's at Greenville Country Club. He said, this guy goes out and cooks catfish like 6 different ways. He stands behind there, he cooks these cooking sauces, and you go through this buffet, and he tells you what they are, and he's got 2 or 3 people cooking with him. So it was real exciting. We do 150 people on a Friday. Bert Wolf calls me up from CNN. He's doing Bert Wolf on the menu, okay? And it was 1 o'clock Saturday show, been on like forever. Anyway, so I was representing Mississippi for catfish. So they come up for a week, man. Everybody thinks I'm so cool, because they're up here to filming Ted's going to be on CNN for a week. We're doing catfish. They bring me all kind of stuff to cook with. And it was really an awesome time. So this is funny. When it's coming for my show to come on, everybody's at the club, man. Everybody all watching it. And about 20 minutes into the show, they let the hostages go in Iran and cut my show off. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. And my wife's like, hey, it was for a good cause.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
It is, it is what it is, I mean,
wow.
Like
you talk about the benchmarks in life and the things that happen along the way. And you have this moment when you're going to be on CNN cooking. And then that happens, which was a huge moment in the history of our country. And obviously,
yeah, that was pretty funny. So wait a minute. So Ted,
these sauces of yours became legendary, and the thing about them was the magic in your sauces to me were, when you put sauce and everything is too much of the seasonings and the flavor and the richness with your sauces, they were always like you could have flooded it on top of whatever you were putting it on. You had the secret sauce. I'm telling you.
I owe that to Bryson, and then chefs at Glen Eagles, chefs at Northwood. And the desire just to be, I always ended up working with great people.
Yeah.
And that was the secret of me getting to a certain point.
Yeah.
So I got to a certain point, and this is a little crazy, but after 18 years, Ford comes in and says, hey, we're going to make a change. And one thing I learned is an average general manager in a club is going to last maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm on 18 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And my boss at Glen Eagles, when I was leaving to go to Northwood, said, Ted, I'm going to give you some advice. He said, when you're at the top, there's only one way to go. So if you're at the top and you're young, you're probably not going to stay up there forever.
Yeah.
And that was really good. I came home, told my wife, oh, don't have a job. 2 kids in college. Then the phone rings. I'm telling you, 1 hour after I tell my wife, it's the TV show. It's a WXVT here in local.
Okay, real quick. Wait, just take a quick break. Visit Mississippi.org. Chef Ted Pasquet. We're going to be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
And I shall believe.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Bullet points.
I'm Evan Brown. How many guns would you like to buy in California? You may no longer have a limit. California had a state law that limited firearms purchases to 1 gun every month. That didn't sit too well with firearms owners, Second Amendment advocates, and a whole host of others who, along with the Firearms Policy Coalition, the NRA, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and Gun Owners of America, sued in federal court in the Southern District of California, and they won. And then the state appealed, and just this past June, the decision was upheld. Now the Ninth Circuit issues its mandate. The California laws violated the Second Amendment right to bear arms, and it is now to be considered to be not in effect. In an unusual move, California's Attorney General did not seek an en banc hearing from the Ninth Circuit's judges. And those are your bullet points. I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
From the Siebert Paint Doc. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
When I was 16, I knew everything.
Talking to Ted Pasquet, just got through making my mouth water, and I just had lunch. So what's that mean? So I'm ready to have it again. Visit Mississippi.org, celebrate so many wonderful places in Mississippi in the culinary arts we're talking about today. And I'm telling you right now, Ted Pasquet, my guest, Chef Ted Pasquet, obviously didn't set his sights early and didn't realize what was heading his way for his career, but he became a benchmark as chefs down here in the Mississippi Delta. And I love hearing the backstory and what it took, starting in washing dishes. And then there you go. Ted, you were talking about you were around a lot of great chefs and stuff along the way. You've always been humble and given credit to where credit is due. As a songwriter, I was around some of the greatest ever in the music business, and that changed the way I was able to articulate and find myself as my own writer, just like you found yourself as your own chef, and it became an honest thing. And I think that survives the times, especially when we're talking in the arts. You do over 100 TV shows in the Delta. That was after you left the club?
The day that the club released me, I got a call about 2 hours later, and this TV station said, Ted, I've been talking about a TV show. And they called up and said, hey, we got you set up. You're going to be out every Saturday at 6:00. You'll be right after the SEC game, and right after you will come Wheel of Fortune. It's like the best spot you can have. And so anyway, so all of a sudden I kind of lose my job, which was okay because I've been there 18 years. I was fine with it. And so I get my own TV show. Okay. So I hadn't done that before, but they go, well, you're going to be the producer. So you have to supply, you have to bring the food, blah, blah, and then they pay for it. And then they paid me. Okay. But it was me and the camera guy, and they had a kitchen and all that stuff. And I always took somebody with me, 103 TV shows over 3 years. And I always had somebody at the club normally come with me, girls or guys, whatever. And then we talk through it. Sure. So all my shows, a lot of talking and stories. And so that turned out to be just wonderful because while I was doing that and I had a lot of spare time. So about 2 months later, I found a restaurant that had been sitting there forever, and it was an old house, and my wife loved it because it reminded her of Bryce. And so anyway, so we opened up there. And then while we're there, a lot of stuff. I did a lot of catfish, love catfish. Mm-hmm. So I opened up the restaurant. And I can remember when you would come in from out of town, you're coming back in the kitchen, hey, Ted, can I get my lobster dish? And I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, my lobster dish that I always liked.
Your lobster dish.
I got a kick out of three-way lobster. That's right. I got a kick out of asking you because the minute I discovered that there was a bigger crawfish in the sea, that I decided, why am I messing around with crawfish? I know my crawfish friends, and you're going to go, Steve, you ought to be ashamed. Where's the loyalty? But once I found out that there was a big one, I was all in. So I loved getting the Ted Pasquet three-way lobster.
Yeah, it was always different. I cooked 3 lobster tails, 3 different sauces.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we grilled.
I'm on the way over. I'm coming over.
And then 3 different sauces, but that was you. And then, Gwen was a big catfish person. She would order catfish. I'd make her a special one.
Yeah.
Because catfish is a great fish. I'm so proud to have been part of the startup of
so much with that, right? And I love it. What's the irony that that show is sponsored by Superior Catfish, and it's made in Macon, Mississippi, over close to Hell State. I've been to the plant a couple times. It's awesome, Ted. Awesome. Anyway, but I agree with you. Catfish worldwide, it's become a thing, a serious thing.
It's just for a chef. I'm telling you, they might not admit it, but it doesn't have that taste.
Exactly.
It goes great with everything,
Yeah.
Exceptionally when it's fried. But I mean, I did it on for Bert Wolf on the Menu at CNN. I did it probably about 9 different ways. And they took a picture, and I had it in Pasquets, and it was pretty neat. So we get through Pasquets, and I'm at Pasquets, and then the country clubs struggling a little bit. And they start coming to me and going, hey, man, we want you to come back. And I'm like, are you crazy? I said, you know what? I'm tired of being my own boss.
So how long was Pasquets open? Because clarify that.
12 years.
12 years. And so we came to you because I came back home, and I think I was just beginning on the board, which and there was always an over and under of how many board meetings I was going to make, which was very low. And that was Mickey Naiman, by the way. If Mickey, you're listening, if there's 12 meetings a year, I'm going to say Steve's going to come in under 4 meetings a year. Anyway, they were shocked when my first year was COVID. So I was at every meeting, and everybody was like shocked. And then now they gave me another term on the board, and which means that by the time it's all said and done, I'm 6 years older. It's not a good way to get older. I'm telling you. Anyway, but I've been missing a lot. So anyway, I'm now the over and under. Mickey's numbers is correct. But keep going, because I know we were desperate for you to come back and fix some things and get us rolling again.
And that happens. I didn't want to come back because my feelings were still hurt.
Yeah, no fooling.
And so after 5 months and them saying, please come back. So I come back. So I said, I'm 6 months and I'm retired. Okay. So I was going to retire anyway. And so after 6 months, here comes Mask, here comes the dang 2 years of going through COVID.
Right.
And I signed up 3 more times for 6 months. It kept, brothers like, oh man, get us through COVID, brother, get us through COVID. But COVID just didn't end like in a month, probably a year and a half where you had to wear a mask. So anyway, we go in there and we start doing these to-go orders and stuff, and none of the members can come in the club, so they're outside, all the help's inside. And we just developed a to-go thing that just was incredible. And we still did. Thing about the country club business is it's always something happening if you're into it. I mean, the board would say, how come you're not here at 9 o'clock? I'm like, oh, we don't open till 11.
Yeah.
And
guess what? It's like asking me, why do I have to come do a sound check when everything's already programmed in? I don't have to show up 3 hours before the show. They don't understand that you're a pro. You know what you got to do, and you know it's going to be taken care of. So just let you do it on your own time. Leave me alone and let me do it.
Yeah, most presidents, the next day after board meetings, they would go, Ted, did you hear what the board said? I would go, yeah. They go, you going to do it? I'm like, no. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, listen, at the end of the year, I'm the one that's going to get fired if this thing doesn't work. So I'm running it. I'm the professional. Y'all do the banking stuff and exactly. Doctoring and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. And I'll handle the club.
Okay, let's take a quick break because we got about 7 minutes left. And I want to stay on this point, though, because first of all, let me just say this. I wasn't around when you, after 18 years and you departed. So I would have been on my fighting horse where there with all sorts of weapons. Second of all, it was a blessing for our community. And I feel like you opening Pasque's for 12 years became a staple, and it has such history to it now. And it's tied to the lure of Doe's and Sherman's and the places that really made an impact and drew people in from all over. And that's what visitmississippi.org is about. We'll be right back with Chef Ted Pasque.
Sun came up in the middle of the night, been doing it wrong for so long. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. To be doing it. I'm doing it right. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. The long-awaited trial of Donna Adelson is getting underway. The matriarch of a wealthy Florida family is accused of being the mastermind behind a murder-for-hire plot to kill her son-in-law, Dan Markle. On the morning of July 18th, 2014, the 41-year-old Florida State University professor was shot twice in the head at point-blank range at his Tallahassee home after bringing his kids to preschool. Prosecutors say Adelson, her son Charlie, and his former girlfriend conspired to kill Markle because he wouldn't let her daughter moved to Miami with their 2 young sons. Wendy Adelson was never charged in connection with her husband's murder. In 2023, Charlie was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder, the same charges his mom faces. Donna was arrested at Miami International Airport as she and her dentist husband were about to board a one-way flight to Vietnam. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
Standing over this little old town called America.
We got a short window left. My man Ted Pasquet, the chef, is in the house. Born and raised in New Orleans, and you can't run from that influence. And I could listen to him talk all day and night. Are you kidding me? Best actor ever. Visit Mississippi.org. We're celebrating the culinary arts. There's so many wonderful chefs around the state like Ted. Don't you feel like that Pasquet was the pinnacle for you? I mean, it was you.
It was, and I just love being there, because people would come, everybody come in and they would ask for different things, and that's not really normal in a restaurant. The chef will actually do it. Most of the time they kind of got crazy personalities, some of them. But it didn't matter to me. I mean, doctor, what's his name?
Joe Patera.
He would come in. Ted, can you do oysters, Rockefeller, oysters, Bienville, grilled oil? He always had something. Between him and Vernon Greenlee and you were easy. Vernon Greenlee, that's another side of the story.
Yes, Vernon. Come on.
You got to have his thing. Anyway, so left there and then went to the club, and now still in the club as a member. Golfing, social, and just having a great time. Greenville's just been really good for me. My wife and I are both retired, maybe 5 years. And everybody was like, well, Ted's leaving. He's going back to New Orleans. And then everybody in New Orleans, well, when are you coming home? I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of friends, love Greenville, love the fact that just a small town atmosphere. And I love that the fact that we have the catfish business has been really good for me. Because it got me started, on TV. And in fact, when I had my TV show, I did a lot of catfish. I also did gumbo. Me and Billy B cooked gumbo one time, and Billy B comes in with a golf club, and I'm like, what are you doing with that golf club? He said, we're doing gumbo, right? I said, yeah. He goes, well, when we finish, I'm going to stir it with George's 3-iron.
Oh, man, the great George Baroni.
The great George Baroni.
Oh, God rest his soul. One of your greatest friends.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Spent all those times at the restaurant with you. I never was there without him. He was always there.
One more Baroni.
One more Baroni. The greatest nickname since anybody on Caddyshack. Hey, Ted, there's been a lot of nicknames in our country club.
Yep. Air traffic. He comes in. I remember when he came in, he said, hey, I'm Scott Jonley. I said, oh, what do you do? He said, I'm an air traffic controller. I said, we're going to call you Air Traffic. And that's how name stuck over there. You know? If somebody gives you a name, it's not up to you,
You think about growing up in New Orleans and where you are, and obviously you're Julian and you're having grandchildren. They're settling back in New Orleans. And I think that's awesome. So there's your visitation rights, I call it, going to see your grandchildren, but your kids, but they're back in New Orleans, and that's awesome. So that you get the dose of growing up. But isn't it interesting that you guys and the Brazoviches, where Rhonda's from New Orleans, and obviously Doc Braz is from Illinois, and how y'all both stumble across a small Mississippi town. I feel like the Pasquets and the Brazoviches, it was a must for our town. It was a must. People talk about the ones that make a difference. I don't think there's any of our folks that we talk to that don't. The town, you've been semi-saving it along the way because the strong personalities, your compassion and desire to make things better, and the spirit and the morale. I can't imagine Greenville, Mississippi, and the Mississippi Delta. It would have been a tremendous void without the Pasquets and without the Brazoviches. I'm just saying.
We moved here the same month, the same year.
Is that true?
He moved in. Yes. Absolutely.
So when you and Rhonda meet, Rhonda's mom had the bars on Bourbon Street. She still has Voodoo 2 across Canal. I mean, was there like instant crazy conversation of everybody you guys knew?
Yeah. Braz's partner in chiropractic, he lived next door to me. He moved in next door. So Braz comes in. He's like, yeah, I'm Dr. Bill, blah. So I meet him right off the bat, and then it's my wife, Rhonda. So Rhonda and Rebecca, my wife, Rebecca, they lived about 1 mile from each other. They didn't know each other.
Come on.
They lived 1 mile from each other in New Orleans. Yeah,
wow.
That's a fact.
And y'all are next door to each other.
Braz's brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law. That's right. That's right. But that's insane.
The Venettas.
Oh, that's right. Wow. Just crazy. Yeah. Well, I think that just getting to experience the conversation that you and I have had a lot. We've never gotten to go through such detail. And when you sent me your bio, and I was thinking, wait, I didn't know Ted was in Texas, and I didn't know you were at Glen Eagles, and I didn't know you served Ben Hogan. I knew the CNN thing because I always saw it on the wall, and I knew the story of Pasake. And obviously, every time we came home, we never, ever missed coming here to your restaurant when we were in Nashville. Every time we came home, that was absolutely on the calendar. And the kids just grew up to it and grew up with it. And the influence you've had on Cecilia, you let her come in and cook in the restaurant. And now she's cooking at a Michelin star restaurant in New York. I think you saw the writing on the wall with her, and you've been a big mentor of hers. I'm telling you.
Well, I tell you what, we all got to give back, and that's what makes the world so great.
Absolutely.
There's certain people out there that don't mind training people, and that's what Bryson's did for me, and Paul Perdue did for Bryson, and it just, in our little world, we got David Cruz right now, Chef Cruz.
Yeah, Chef Cruz, man. I get to work with him with my show. I mean, he's awesome. He's my favorite. I mean, you're down here since you retired. So you guys have always been my go-tos. And Cat Cora, if I could ever come back home to Mississippi, y'all are my three, cream de la creams, Well, listen, we've run out of time. I love you, buddy. I'll see you at the club, and I'm grateful for you, Chef Ted Pasake, folks. So many of you people have partaken at his restaurant over all those years. Visit Mississippi.org. We've celebrated the culinary arts, and now we're out. I'm Steve Azar. We'll see you later.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.